This segment's brought to you in part by LaRue Tactical, manufactured dead center of Texas.
Never seen one, I tell you. There they are. Let me bring them over closer.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me grab that right slide.
Oh, you got that done?
Yeah.
Chance took Jimmy's off-the-rack Bushmaster home last night and did some improvements. True free-floated the barrel, added some attachments that should really help increase the accuracy of a basic off-the-rack gun. Check it out.
Holy crap. You sure that's mine? That ain't one of yours?
No, that's yours.
Unbelievable.
As I upgraded the rail, free-floated it with that LaRue 12-inch handguard. LaRue ambidextrous textured grip. Harris bipod with a quick LaRue mount on it. And a LaRue OBR 111 mount with that Horse Vision Blackbird 2 scope on it.
You'd never think it was the same gun?
No, absolutely not. That will definitely increase your
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Let's make it happen.
Scott and Jimmy wanted to show us more of Montana's cattle range. Besides fire and drought, prairie dogs are about the worst thing that can happen to a cattle rancher. Not only do they eat everything down to the dirt, they leave huge holes behind. Cattle will either step into them, or the ground collapses under their weight, breaking their leg, and then they have to be put down. So we're going to practice what Chance taught us in high winds at moving pop bottle sized targets. P-Dog targetry.
5, 4, 3.
Yesterday, Chance and Jimmy and I were up prairie dog hunting, and Chance had these Bushnell scopes mounted on his rifles, and Jimmy was shooting a 22-250 with his mil-dot scope, and I was shooting a 243 with my mil-dot. And we were basically, a day like today, kind of windy, and we were having some issues with holdover and wind. And we were watching Chance shoot, and every time he shot, he was just nailing prairie dogs. So I said, Chance, what are you doing? He said, well, I got these Bushnell scopes on them and on my rifles, and they got this Horse Vision reticle in it. I had a Remington 700 223 that Chance mounted a Bushnell scope on it with that Horse Vision reticle.
So come down 0.3.
The beauty on that with that Horse reticle, you can actually, that's all I did was measure down and left how many mils he was, and then you just reverse it, and that's what he's going to come up.
That was dead center.
Yeah, right on the money.
Within 3 rounds, I was zeroed. Consistently after that, I was shooting up to 600 yards. Anything from 100, 200, 300, 500, 600 yards.
Same spot.
And then he came out with another scope, and he says, you know what if you're up in Alaska and you break your scope? I mean, what are you going to do?
On my guns, I run all these LaRue mounts on my LaRue guns. I run them on my ARs. I run them on my Remingtons. They take in the return to zero accuracy. We're going to show you here in a minute. We're going to pull his scope off. We're going to put this one on, zero this scope, take this scope off, put his original one back on, and that original one is the one he's going to hunt with tomorrow. And then during the day tomorrow, we're going to pull that one off, put this one on, and go at it. We're going to make it happen.
He pulled my scope off, put this other scope on, we zeroed it, and then he took it off, put my old scope back on, and we came out here today prairie dog hunting again.
5, 4, 3.
All right, find one and then talk us onto it.
All right, 0.5, winds directly in your face, zero value. Go ahead and take the shot when you're ready.
Oh, smoked it. There you go.
And I was shooting prairie dogs 100, 200, 300 yards, and all of a sudden he goes, you know what?
But guess what time it is?
Time to shoot another prairie dog?
No, we're going to take your scope off.
I'm like, what, are you nuts? I'm zeroed in on everything. I don't have any problems.
All right, remember, you zeroed this
He
yesterday.
pulled my scope off, put it on my rifle, and said, okay, there's a prairie dog out there. He told me what my
right,
holdover was on it.
It's a 0.12 hold.
Squeezed around, prairie dogs was down. I mean, end of story. And I've been shooting with that scope, for over the last hour and a half, and consistently hitting, 2 out of 3 prairie dogs. That scope is zero.
Ready.
And I could just take it off now, put the other scope back on. It's unbelievable. I'm just sold on these scopes, and that LaRue mount is just unbelievable. I've never envisioned anything like that, and I can guarantee it's going to be one of the first purchases I make.
The American Outdoor Adventure was made possible with the support of Horus Vision, Reticle Excellence. You're watching the American Outdoor Adventure. Go make it happen.